Thank you very much for having me here, Jimmy and team. I come from Uruguay, which is a long way from New Zealand. But I think that I have quite a few things I want to share with you about what we have learned about doing chatbots in our company. So first of all, why am I here? I've been trying to do chatbots for the past 5 years. And there were some challenges that were imposed to us in the past that didn't allow us to create these chatbots. Funny story, 5 years ago, I was working at a consultancy firm, and we wanted to create an assistant for the company so customers could talk to the company, and this will respond requests without having people, humans. So that didn't work. That didn't work because we didn't have the technology for that to happen. But some stuff that we have learned there are very applicable to today's technologies. And one anecdote is that one person of that team is my current wife. So that was one good outcome of that process. So before talking about chatbots, I want to talk about the evolution of user interfaces and how we come to use services as we use right now. So if we take a look at this screen, this is a command line interface, which is used nowadays as well for servers and all that, Linux and Unix, which was one of the first ways of communicating with computers. Then they came the graphical user interfaces. This invented by Xerox and then adopted by Apple and Microsoft and everybody else. And then we have these mobile GUIs, mobile user interfaces, which were revolutionized by the iPhone in 2007. So what's next? What's after all these? What can we use right now to interact with systems? And so there's a big thing happening right now, which is that messaging is king. It's the #1 app used by everybody, almost everybody. So it's #1 in every app store, has 1.5+ billion users between WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Skype, Slack. Everybody is using messaging apps. So there's a huge opportunity for messaging or conversational user interfaces, because now everybody is using messaging apps. So it makes sense for companies to be integrated into these messaging applications. So this is why I think that there's a great opportunity of going back to conversation, going back to our thing that makes us human, our thing that we know and we learned since the beginning, how to talk to systems. So now, with conversation, we can actually talk to systems. So that leads to the chatbot. What is a chatbot anyway? A chatbot is a computer program designed to simulate a conversation with human users. So these chatbots are supposed to behave like humans. So these chatbots are supposed to be trained to answer like humans. And that is possible right now because of all the advances in machine learning. All that is available to us right now in APIs in the cloud for us to use. 5 years ago, we didn't have that. We needed to create those on our own. Right now, we do have this in the cloud by IBM, Microsoft, Facebook. Everybody is doing that, and everybody's actually making them available to us through APIs, through a certain way of connecting them to our applications. So that is why it's a great opportunity. So Satya Nadella, which is a Microsoft CEO, which is a very smart guy, is telling everybody that chatbots are the new apps. And why is that? If you look at your phone, there's so much apps that you can fit in your phone, right? My phone is already filled with apps, and I use 20% of them. So it's becoming increasingly hard for companies to get your apps in your phones, to get their apps within your phones. So everybody's using messaging apps. It's increasingly hard to get apps in phones. People have less motivation to install these apps. So it might make sense to get within the messaging apps that we have right now. So this is what I call the rise of chatbots and conversational user interfaces. And this is a new paradigm. This is a new way of interacting with businesses. So Facebook is doing a great job using Facebook Messenger for businesses. So you might have used that to chat with a business within Facebook Messenger of the business page. So what if that answer comes from an automated system, from a chatbot, instead of someone actually trying to answer, usually replies within 1 hour? No, it needs to be usually replies instantly. So that makes a great opportunity for us, software developers, to create systems that allow businesses to respond instantly to these requests. So this is one thing that we did. It's called Banking Bot. This is Spanish, sorry, I'm from Latin America. So we created this bot that is a bank bot. Basically, you can do anything that you can on your e-banking, but by chatting. So you can chat with your bank. You can do all sorts of operations. You can check your savings account. You can check, you can wire money. You can see where the ATM is closer to you. All sorts of things through a conversational user interface. This is a travel bot. We had this idea of doing a bot that, instead of just allowing you to buy a ticket, we would like the bot to tell me where to go. So the idea is, I have a budget, I have a time frame, I have some personality, I have some likes. I like outdoors, I like mountains, I like skiing. So surprise me with someone, with some travel experience better suited for me. Why? Because you know my social profile, because you know where I've been, you know where I travel, you know where all the places that I like the most. So why you don't use that and give me the travel of my lifetime? So that is possible with bots. Bots are able to analyze your personality with your input, with your budget, with wherever you have been, and then offer you places to go based on your personality. I've been several times trying to get this on travel agencies, and they don't know me. Every time that I get into a travel agency, they will ask all the same questions again. So for me, this is like having a great personalized experience to just suited for you, because they know me. So this is all great. This is amazing, and it really works. But Chatbot brings new challenges, so we need new teams. I'm a software developer. I'm not a UX guy. I'm not a UX designer, but I work with great people. So last month, we were at this hackathon, and we won first place. And the difference between us and the rest of the team, we're 50 teams, is that we had several different types of people within the team. We have engineers, we have designers, we have a psychologist. Why? To understand and to train the behavior of these chatbots. Software engineers alone won't cut it anymore. You need all these types of people that actually create empathy with the people that are using these bots. And it's interesting because you create a sort of team with all these different types of personalities that are trying to create these amazing types of new software, which for me, it's amazing because I've been trying to do this for ages. So what is a chatbot team looks like? Right now, our chatbot team has developers, psychologists, UI designers, and several other people like testers and clients and all that. But it's very different. I actually put psychologists in yellow there because that's like the thing that makes us different right now. The type of people that actually is trying to get all that knowledge, understanding people, and getting that into software, which is it's a much more different thing to do than we were doing in the past. So I'm here to leave you with 5 tips that I've learned so far on creating chatbots, great UX for chatbots. And this is what I want to leave you with. So personality is key. We're talking about psychologists. If there's one thing that you need to know, you need to get it right on your chatbots, is personality. The personality needs to be one thing that creates empathy with the users. That's key. You can have the best engineers in the world. If you don't create a great personality, people won't be able to use it. If you have used Siri in the past, Siri has a weird personality, right? But people are trying to create new ways of creating empathy with users on these new chatbots. And I think that's one of the key differentiators with everybody else. Specify conversation topics. This is one of the most hard-learned lessons that we have. When we launched our first bot, we sent it to family and friends, and the response was awful. Why? Because they thought it was Siri. They could ask anything, like, will it rain today? Should I take an umbrella? What's the shortest path to my grandma's house? No, it's a banking bot. A banking bot will only answer questions regarding banking, like, where's the ATM? How can I wire money? How can I invest my money? So if you don't do this, you will end up with a kind of frustrated user base. So chatbots are more than text, and this is true. Although it's called chatbots, I kind of hate the word chatbots, but it's what everybody knows it for. But it's more like a virtual assistant. So my advice here is text is just the beginning. Text is just like the simplest way of communicating with the system. But you can add video, you can add multimedia content of any kind, maps, images, everything that allows the user to consume the information much easier. And I think that's a great tip for chatbots. And then, what happens when your chatbot is not responding? What happens when your chatbot doesn't know the answer? So you always need to plan for humans. So because chatbots are still bots for now. And then when the chatbot is not really answering the question, then you should really say, hey, do you want me to call you? You want to call a real human to call you? So you close the loop. If not, you will end up with answers like, I'm afraid I can't do that. And that's it. So this is a very interesting thing to do. Whenever, like the else case, when nothing works, then you should call for humans. And these are the things. The training never ends. When you train bots, when you train on the knowledge domain, it's not that this system will just keep on learning. You need to keep on training and keep on training on new answers, on new questions, on new ways of asking questions. And this is something that when we were trying to sell these bots to clients, they would say, wouldn't this learn by their own? No. You will go again and again every month to retrain the bot. There are some things out there, it's called automatic machine learning, that is trying to get this automated. Bots that really learn by themselves. And this, my wish is voice. I think voice is the next frontier. If you look at this movie, Her, from 2013, I think there's a great quote from Wired on a review that says, the future we see in Her is one where technology has dissolved into everyday life. And this is great. This is like the technology that I want. I want to have my earpiece, my little device, my iPhone 11 in my phone that basically is an interface to my earpiece and the cloud. And that is, I think we are building everything for this. I think everything we're doing right now, all the pieces that we're building are leading towards this kind of experiences. And I want to leave you all with a quote that is very, very interesting, and I think it makes sense today. And it applies to Wellington for sure. You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. And I truly think that the wind is blowing towards that technology, towards voice, towards chatbots, and towards an experience that is actually dissolved within us. So thank you very much for having me. I I hope you liked it. Thank you.